Two Wants to Know is digging deeper into workplace laws and issues that come with it. Since the pandemic, several things have changed in the office. There are new rules, regulations. Many jobs work solely remote or from home. Inflation has changed some of the ways that people get paid. Well, for the next 15 minutes or so, we're talking about employment law, and we're going to be answering your questions live on air. What we need you to do is send in those questions to the number that's on the screen, 336-379-5775. Well, joining us today for this discussion is Nicole Patino with the law offices of L. Nicole Patino. All right, so let's get started. One of the hottest topics lately in America and really all over in North Carolina is access to sports betting. All right, with this new venture for people to pursue, does this affect the workplace in any way?
Sure, it absolutely could. So, one, you may see more employers implementing social media policies or computer use policies. More websites may be blocked because people may be using the sports betting sites more frequently. There may be changes to the EAPs that provide help with gambling addiction. Depending on what happens, there may be employees who ask for accommodations related to a gambling addiction or who need FMLA to receive treatment, since there may be an increased use of these things. But there aren't any real laws on it yet, other than the kind of things I mentioned. But an employer is likely going to be unable to say you absolutely can't use these sports betting sites at work unless they block websites or limit the social media. And it's likely going to be covered under the lawful use of lawful products statute that we have in North Carolina.
Okay, so that kind of leads me to the next question was, can your employer discipline you over sports betting? And maybe there's a couple of different, ways that could possibly happen, whether you're doing that instead of doing your job, or if people know that you're gambling and betting or losing, or can they do anything about that?
Absolutely. So they can't just tell you can't bet at all, but lots of employers do have rules already in their handbooks about illegal gambling or unlawful gambling on the premises. And like I said, they're likely going to be monitoring how much time people spend on their phones or the computers using sites like these.
It's like the new water cooler.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Got it. All right. So let's talk about this right here. Can I ask my employer for accommodations because I'm pregnant, or maybe after you come back and you're nursing? This is a very common kind of question and a very common kind of like thread that people ask about.
Absolutely. So last year in June, the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act went into effect, and covered employers are required to give accommodations to employees who are pregnant, who have known limitations related to their pregnancy, childbirth, or related medical conditions. And those can include things like allowing extra water breaks, bathroom breaks, closer parking, even uniforms that fit better along the pregnancy.
Interesting. Okay. Let's talk about this. Can my employer discipline me for filing an OSHA complaint or like a workers' comp complaint?
North Carolina has a statute called RETA, the Retaliatory Employment Discrimination Act, and employers are prohibited under the statute for retaliating against an employee for filing an OSHA complaint or a workers' comp claim. So if your employer is asking you not to file workers' comp or threatening to take action against you because you did that or because you made an OSHA complaint, you can actually file a claim or complaint with the North Carolina Department of Labor based on that retaliation.
So let me ask you this. If they're filing, they're threatening, or maybe they're saying something and you're filing a complaint, what kinds of like evidence or things would you need to support like they're actually doing that?
So you would want to keep a record of these things. When you file the complaint with the North Carolina Department of Labor, they're going to ask questions to make sure that you do meet kind of the threshold of this complaint. But anything that you have, including emails, of course, don't email those to yourself directly from your email account of the employer, but keep track of dates and times. You can keep a journal, a record, and you can keep witness lists that you may want the Department of Labor to talk to.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. How about this? This is something that, people work all kinds of shifts and schedules and days of the week. Can someone ask an employer to alter their schedule so that they can attend a weekly church meeting or religious meeting or something of that nature?
Absolutely. The law on religious accommodations has actually changed a little bit in the last year or so, and now it's easier to get a religious accommodation. So unless the employer absolutely can't do it unless it would create an undue burden, then the employer is required to engage at least in the interactive process and try to accommodate an employee with a religious accommodation request.
Okay, and so is that something that they can take some time to make that accommodation?
Yes, absolutely. And again, it's the interactive process. So they go back and forth with the employee and try to come to an agreement about what would work. But they can't, in most cases, flat out deny that. They do have to engage in some sort of good faith negotiation.
Okay, gotcha. All right, we are going to take a quick break. We're taking your questions when we come back, 336-379-5775. Do you think you've got something that you'd like to ask somebody about, but you don't know who to ask and you don't know what the right answer is? Well, we're going to tell you when we come back.